Welcome to Why Your Business is Invisible Online, the podcast that connects businesses online with the people they want to serve. Joining me are my two co-hosts, and here they are.
I'm Jim Filatico. When I'm not helping my clients grow their businesses online, you can find me traveling with friends and family.
Hi, I'm Kelly Biggs, and I'm the AT alien of the group. I love hanging with friends and family, and when I'm not doing that, you can find me on Peloton. I've clocked over 2,000 rides so far.
And I'm your host, John Manatas from Oakville, Ontario, Canada, with my guitar in hand, my Wi-Fi on life support, but always in tune with my clients. I got to move on to another quick topic, and I'd love to hear your stories around this. Jim, you had mentioned, we were talking earlier, and you had mentioned, it's a technical term, but I think we can simplify it, the importance of it. Things like meta tags and H1, H2 headings and so forth, and the importance of those on your website. Since we're on this topic of content
Sure.
on your website, if you have any clients that, I mean, typically this isn't something I guess you talk directly to a client about, but like
you discover it.
Exactly. Yeah. So do you guys have any stories around, metas, H1s, things you had to do there? Yeah.
So I have a home services company that just called me after 2 years. I talked with them 2 years ago, and they said, yeah, well, we're happy with who we have. I'm like, okay. And so 2 years later, they're like, yeah, we're not so happy. So again, we had the conversation about, where you're selling, who's your customers, all those kind of things. I offered to do a web scan, did a web scan. Turns out, again, really pretty pictures, local pictures, everything was great, but they had 0 meta tags, 0 headers, 0 anything. Mm-hmm. So again, that's the technical side of it. But how would you describe, like, for our audience, what is an H1 and what is a meta tag? Why does it even exist? What's its purpose? The easiest thing to do is kind of show, but to explain it. So when you search for a particular product and you look at somebody's website, you see the link, and then all the words after that link is the meta tag, right? That's the information that Google is actually reading to serve up that website, because a website's name doesn't necessarily tell you what it is. Right, some of them do, like HVAC or whatever. But if it's Smith Manufacturing,
to GoDaddy earlier,
right. But if Smith Manufacturing, what the hell does Smith Manufacturing mean, right? So you have to put in a description of what that is, and so that is stuff that you do for Google. So when Google's searching, the other thing is when you go kind of the next layer down, is if you call your homepage, okay. But if you call your services page, Google said, well, what service, right? Mm-hmm. So that the information that you put in that tag means something. And then also the title tags within the page, when you describe the title tags and give the information of the title tag. So if it's an HVAC customer, for instance, or this one that I had, did tree services, then it's cutting trees down or trimming trees or
pruning
pruning or it's rotted out or whatever. Those kind of things helps Google say, here's the information the searcher's looking for. I'm going to serve that up. But if you don't have those in there, Google's not going to search your website, because it's like you've said, it's a bot, it's a robot. They're not going to go in and read and search for those keywords within the paragraphs. They don't have time for that, right?
Right.
Because like Kelly said, 3 seconds, the expectation is when I Google something, it comes up in milliseconds, right? And it even tells you how many things they've found and how quick they've served it up to you, because they're proud of that. So they're sure as hell not going to go read somebody's website to check that out. No. They want to be able to provide that information right away. So that's where that technical side comes into play, where when someone builds their own website, they don't realize that. Or when someone built a website years ago when that didn't mean as much, or they didn't understand it as much. And, we talk about mobile versus desktop. Mobile, years ago didn't mean anything because you didn't do searches on a on a flip phone, right? So, now that's where people search. So you have to make sure that that is there too. So anyway,
what happened with this client? So this client had none of that stuff.
Nothing.
Wow.
And so once we added that in there, we added in the technical side, and they're not that old of a client right now, but they're already seeing the benefits from an organic search perspective, because as Google now searches for their services, it pops up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because they see it. So it's kind of an easy win.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, they're being found.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean. More importantly, their website has some value, as opposed to them and their family going on saying, "Look at the pretty pictures."
Yeah. I'll throw something in here too, and I'm going to move more to fun hacks on this, right?
Okay.
So I have a client who actually she's found. She is found. She's been doing SEO for even before I took over from another company, but she's been doing SEO for years. She gets it. She knows that that's something that she needs to do. She's a medical sports massage company.
Yeah. I was going to ask what business.
Medical hyper local, obviously, right? Yeah. But also hyper specific, because it's not you're not going to her if you want a Swedish massage. This is to really
no couples massages.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess she will do that, but that's not the
After
point.
Hours.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Not hurt. I won't say that, but it's intentional to to get you to feel better. Right. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so she stays on the front of Google, but she's been having the same keywords forever. She remains on the top of Google for several keywords. But our internal team were like, these keywords are interesting, but what if we start moving over to more high intent keywords, right? So that if I'm looking for the best sports massage company in Atlanta, that's interesting, but I'm probably going to get a list. I'm going to be competing with directories, right? Versus massage for lower back pain.
Okay.
Right. So and we did that shift, and actually I had a conversation with her just the other day. She was like, the quality of people that we have coming in here.
Great point.
And so what that also does is, to your point, Jim, I think you mentioned earlier about, what's the value of this customer. So for her, a valuable customer is one who understands going in that if I have a medical issue that's requiring massage, one time is not going to do it. So as much as I can educate them ahead of it to here's what you can expect and here's the quality of service you're going to get as a result of that, the better the clients are that come to her. So that's what I would say is hack number one is. But the other thing for her, because she is on the first page of Google, we started exploring with her a few months back, probably 6 now, how the AI search engines view her company, right? And so we went in and same thing. Where would I go in Atlanta for a medical sports massage? And then I remember going specifically to Perplexity, which is one of the search engines I really like. And so they had a list. And she, again, thank God, she was still at the top of that list. Okay.
So she's being found.
Yeah, she is being found. But then I went a step further and I said to Perplexity, because there were other people there, and I said, why is this, why did you give me these results ahead of this result? And so interestingly enough, to come back full circle, it did point to some of the things that we're talking about, the meta titles, the meta tags. So to me, if you're even thinking about, because I think there's going to be a time where you go to AI search engines and they're going to basically book things on your behalf. And if you haven't thought through this, and if the technical piece becomes more important, then you had better deal with that today.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be way behind way behind.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah.
The bottom line, I think, is what we're all saying here is you have to make it easy for the search engine's robot or crawler, whatever you want to call it. You have to make it easy for it to do its job, because it cares about speed and giving the answer to whoever's doing the lookup fast. And the harder you make it, the further down the list of pages you're going to be listed, and you'll never get to page one. It sounds like that your client, Kelly, definitely knows what they're doing, but you're taking them to the next level where, the potential leads now are far deeper along the path of buying their services. They know they have a problem with their lower back. It's not a high level search. It's a very specific one. And I think, I think that's
immediate.
Yeah, and immediate,
Right.
but because of the pain. Yeah, totally, Jim. Yeah. So that's great, and it's a good topic. I think the phrase long tail keywords comes up a lot in our business, and that's what Kelly's sort of talking about. The more complicated keywords, because they're so specific and maybe rare in terms of search, they're that much more effective once they land. Because the person's ready to buy whatever it is they need. They're ready to buy with long tail keywords, and that's a great Those are strategies we definitely have to explore later on. And that wraps up another episode. My name is John.
This is Jim,
and I'm Kelly. Thanks for joining. Hey, don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you for tuning in to Why Your Business is Invisible Online. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do us a favor and subscribe and follow us on Spotify and Apple. Be sure to share it with other business owners who might find it helpful. If you want to dig deeper, contact us at ruinvisibleonline.com. That's capital letter R, capital letter U, followed by invisibleonline.com. Or message us on our LinkedIn business profile with the same title, Are You Invisible Online? The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and may or may not reflect the official policy or position of WSI Corporate. Always consult a qualified digital marketing expert before making significant changes to your online strategy. Until next time, keep connecting with the people who matter most to your business and join us for our next episode.